So did you guys know that Cardi B's first job was a cashier at a Manhattan Amish market, or that Taylor Swift sold Christmas trees? A few A-listers revealed their first job wasn't always an obvious sneak preview to the rest of their lives. So I wanted to ask you guys, what was your first job?
Well, I can start. For me, my first job was working at Foot Locker. So that was the job. So basketball player, athlete. So I'm like, okay, well, let me try and get in Foot Locker, try and get some discount on some sneakers. So make myself look cool with my friends so they can come to me and I can be the plug.
That's great.
What was the discount? It wasn't much. I'll say this, maybe about 30%, but it wasn't too much.
I think that's a lot on sneakers.
It's pretty solid.
I'll take it, right?
Yeah,
I'll
definitely.
take it. You want like 40–50%.
That would be ideal, right.
Okay, so mine were abnormal, not as cool as Foot Locker. So I stayed on Cottage Grove. So Leak & Sons Funeral Home, a lot of people know that they've been in the community for decades. Leak & Sons Funeral Home, they were one of the first big jobs I had. So shouts out to them, 79th and Cottage.
Yeah.
And then the other one, which was a little weird too, I worked at a Jamaican chicken shack.
Okay.
So I need to hear more about this funeral home, though. What did you do there?
Okay, yes. So at the funeral home, I'll tell you both. At the funeral home, I worked the front desk. I answered phones. I worked with the families when they're grieving. I would a lot of times be the first person they walk in when they see, when they come in. And so it was definitely, I think the big lesson there was to practice empathy and understand that people are walking around our world in all different states of minds. You know, and people grieve differently. Some people are loud criers. Other people hold it in. Some people, they're like a fuse ready to pop. And, you know, I think it's an important reminder, like you never know what somebody's walking around with on their heart and in their head. So that was the lesson there. But at the Jamaican Chicken Shack, I worked at Uncle Joe's. I did not cook fried chicken. I worked at Uncle Joe's on 82nd and Cottage Grove. So shouts out to them. But I'm not sure if they're really open anymore. But it's still, the neighborhood knows them. And that was my introduction into Jamaican culture. And they'd be like, "What the go on, man?" And I'm like, "Hey."
That was a good accent. I like that, though. I
that. I spent every day with them for a summer.
Nice. So you were the plug for the chicken then, for the food, right? Okay, all right,
Did you like the food?
Yes, I love Jamaican food, and so there are actually a few Uncle Joe's around the city, and I think they have different owners. But that was the one I was at 87th.
I've liked the food at every restaurant that I've ever worked at, starting with Sonic. I was a car hop at Sonic when I was 15, going on 16, and that was a lot of money for a high school kid to make. I remember I'd walk away with $50 in my pocket, $80 in my pocket tips, and I just remember going shopping and being like, how am I going to spend all this cash? Because when you're young, you don't have the most expenses. But I actually really liked it, and I really liked the food when I was there. I'll still stop at Sonic anytime I'm on a road trip, and I can get a delicious slushie or something like that. But when I was super young, I don't know how this was legal, but when I was 12 years old, I taught swimming lessons.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you a lifeguard?
Yeah.
No, I was teaching little kids their very first swimming lessons. It was fun. Yeah, I was a swimmer.
So you were the guppy teacher then, for guppy classes for swimming for little kids? Okay, nice.
How deep was the water?
Not deep. It was shallow.
Like 3 feet?
Yeah.
But for little kids,
at that age,
that's like 20 for them.
Yeah, it was really fun.
It must be because you have a very trustworthy face.
I can't tell if you're kidding or not.
No, well, that was in jest.
I'm just gonna lay back.
You see those eyes?
I'm caught in the middle.
I would leave my children with you with no problem, girl.
That's good. I also babysat a lot, so maybe you're onto something, Fee.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Did you guys babysit?
No.
No, not at all. I don't have the patience.
We don't have the face.
No, not at all.
We don't have a trustworthy face. No, interesting. All right, so your first jobs, you never know where you might end up in life, right?
This
is true.
All right, so let me paint a picture for you guys. You're out to dinner with a friend, and they suddenly reach across the table and they grab a few of your fries without even telling you, without even asking you. So does this turn into a lioness or a lion straight out of the animal kingdom? Are you going to just go after them and attack them? How do you really feel about sharing food?
Well, I would say this. If my friend reached across the table to get my food, I would say, before you eat that, just let me lay down some rules first and some manners first. Like, who raised you? And then
my
second of all,
goodness.
don't do that. I mean, if we're cool, then ask. I think we're all, adults,
But what
and
if
we
they
can
ask like this?
No, it's just like, all right. It's like, no, I plan on eating everything on that plate. So you're just gonna take away from my plate. That's my food. I mean, I'm a good friend, but at the same time, I want you to ask first.
But the key is when you ask. You have to wait. If I see something on my friend's plate when we're at dinner and I want it, I know I can't go for that right away. I have to wait. I have to wait a couple minutes, probably about 2/3 of the way through the meal. When they start filling up, because when everyone's food comes, they're famished, right?
Yeah.
But after they eat a little bit, you can see them slowing down on their bites. That's when you got to go and be like, oh, can I have a fry here too?
Maybe I should be like more strategic.
You got to be
than
strategic about it.
I'm coming over, okay? I'm coming over. That's just how we do it in my family. Like, it's just, we're all here dining together. We all share our food. It took me 5 years to get my husband used to that.
Wow.
He's like you. He's like, don't touch anything. It all has my name on it. Every single thing here has my name on it. But I'm a dipper. I like to dip. I like to taste. I like different flavors. So when we're out to eat, I feel like we're at dinner.
Gotcha. I understand that. Yeah.
I would say it's one of the main incentives to getting a boyfriend is the ability to share food. I mean,
and I don't want my food. He's like, oh, I'll get you your own. No. I want some of your food.
You know what? My wife does that a lot, and I've come to just grow to be comfortable with it. It's like, okay, I know at some point she's gonna ask, but at the same time, I'm a smart man. I want to keep a happy home, so let me just keep that.
This man is.
Look at my sweater. This is a happy sweater that I have on. I'm happy.
He's beaming with sharing pride. Did your wife buy you that sweater?
She did. So she's my assistant / stylist / manager / everything. She's my world.
She has good style.
My boyfriend's great because he'll say, why don't you just pick 2 things that look good to you and we'll just order those 2. And I'm like, I've never loved you more. It's pretty great. Well, some people say that you should marry your best friend, and a recent article in Women's Health listed signs that a guy is totally into you as more than a friend. So here's a couple of them that stuck out to us. Felicia, you want to kick this off?
Yes. Okay. So he's been texting, calling you more often, and I think that's a clear telltale sign. However, I got to give a warning. I am horrible at picking up on signs. People would tell me this all the time. Obviously, I'm married now. People would tell me this all the time. They would be like, hey, you know he likes you, right? I'm like, no. We're just hanging out. No. I'm horrible at picking up on signs. But I think that is a sign that I probably should have picked up on.
I know.
If they're calling, they're talking to you more, they're trying to reach out more. Another one that I actually did go through this, that you are, when you talk about being romantic more often, it's more awkward. And so I actually have a high school friend. We were very good friends. And I think he kind of had interest. There was interest there from both sides. It didn't need to go further because I really, really enjoyed the friendship too so much, and that was where wisdom kicked in because I knew it wasn't going to work out. So I'm just so happy that we stayed friends. We don't talk as much as we used to, but we're cool.
I have a hard time with that too. Sometimes it is hard to pick up on the signs because you just feel like, oh, we're getting really close and we're really good friends. But I kind of feel like as an adult, and I wanted to resist this for so long, but as an adult, if someone of the opposite sex is trying to become your friend, they're probably trying to date you, right? Unless it's like at work and you're coworkers and you're just friendly with them, or if it's a really old friend. I think in general, a new friend of the opposite sex or the sex that you're into is probably trying to date you.
Guys say that. They're like, oh, do you need a new friend? And I'm like, no. I don't need any friends. No.
See, I miss it. I used to have such good guy friends, and I miss that. But I feel like at the same time, it does more often than not. It seems inappropriate when you have a partner to do that, right?
You gotta watch out for the hidden agendas with some of those guy friends at the same time.
Give us,
so definitely,
give us the key.
I will let you know that my wife and I started out as friends, but it didn't kind of go into the situation where
what were
I was
your
like,
intentions?
I wanted to be your friend just so I can date you. No, I went out and I, asked my wife for her telephone number. She didn't give it to me. She shut me down right away. Long story. Don't want to get into it. Long story. So I don't have any game. I didn't spit any lines. I don't have that.
Have you always been this cool, or did she make you cool?
She makes me very cool. I'll say that. So I'm very lucky that I'm married now because I don't know where I would be if I didn't have my wife. So, but it's one of those things where you have to make sure that, again, your intentions are clear. So you don't want to go in there with saying, okay, well, I want to be your friend, but my hidden agenda is to be your boyfriend or to try and date you. So.
And that's my thing. You guys know I'm a very black and white person. I like to get straight to the point, especially when we're talking about romance. Like that's why I miss picking up on the cues. Like you have to literally look me straight in the eye and say, I like you.
Gotcha.
Let's date. Like I do not like all that gray area that, oh, you know how people are like, oh, we're talking, we're hanging out. No. We're either dating or we're not dating. You're either interested or you're not interested.
But I feel like they can also just like touch you a little bit more, and you can tell that way. Like, and I'm not talking like scoop the avocado that you spilled on your shirt off of you. I mean like brush your hair out of the way or touch your shoulder or something like that, and you're like, oh, something.
Wait, where was the avocado spill?
Right.
Where did you
spill it a lot, so that would be like the thing that they would probably be pulling off.
And
anyway,
watch out for the extended hugs too. The kind of hugs that take a little, like, okay, if you feel a guy kind of give you that hug, that 2-arm hug, then check out for that.
I ain't got time
Side
for that.
hugs or friend hugs. Yeah.